John, obviously a really strong start. They worked their way into it. Second quarter, got away from the battle in the third. Where did it get away from you, do you think?
Yeah, it's easy to talk about the third quarter. We had good momentum in the second quarter, but the way they finished the second quarter kind of just wrestled a little bit of the momentum away from us. Like, we still went in with a lead, but we're just a little undisciplined down like the last couple of minutes of the second quarter, which, you know, gave them a nice momentum into the change room. And then they, like, third quarter was not pretty by us.
Do you hang your hat on some of the comeback you made in the fourth? I mean, it got out to 23 and you got almost back to single digits, or was it sort of the horses bolted by then, or did you take some solace out of it?
No, like there was some good moments there. Those young guys that come in did a great job. You like when you lose your primary ball handler 3 minutes into the game, guy that does a great job on Bryce. You know, and we got other guys on minute restrictions that are coming back from injury. Like, there's opportunity there, but then, you know, you're playing the number one team in the competition. You know, we had to manage a lot of things tonight. So, but like, give them credit, and very disappointing in the way that we played in the third quarter.
What is the diagnosis on David Jude right at the minute?
Yeah, I'm not sure on that. Yeah.
Yes, John. What was it like? Steve touched on that third term. Like, you know, what is it that you saw from Adelaide that you didn't see from them last time, or did you see something different, or was there anything different about that particular third term, the way that they played, or their intensity, or what can you put your finger on about it?
Without jumping to conclusions, and just what I felt in the moment, like, our offense led to their offensive explosion. Like, they got out in the transition, and like they got some dynamic scorers when they're in the open floor, and there was a stretch of time where we couldn't make a basket, and they're just, you know, playing at a great pace and making threes, they're getting layups. You know, like, yeah, we inflicted our own sentence on ourselves. But, you know, like, and that's the thing about Adelaide. Like, they're a dynamic, explosive team when you're given the opportunity, and we gave them those moments.
And Sunday, for yourself, you got some extra minutes this afternoon, obviously, with David Duke going down a bit earlier, and that you obviously relished that opportunity to pick up your battle with Bryce Cotton like you've done over the years and that. I mean, from your perspective, like, you know, how do you prepare yourself to be ready to go for an assignment like that, especially when you're not sure about how many minutes you are going to play in that assignment?
I think it's just a team effort. You know, I think the coaches do a great job prepping us all week, and it's not a, you know, one-man defense. It's five players. You know, it's the guy on the ball, then the big, then the help side. So it all plays into it. But we're all professionals, and I think at the end of the day, you got to stay ready when your number's called. And credit to all the young guys on our bench that came in at the end and gave us a bit of a spark, right? Because, you know, it just shows that we do have it in us when we're ready to go, and everyone on the roster can do the same thing.
It looked like in the majority of this game you created some really good shots, but they just didn't quite go in. And like John was saying, sort of Adelaide capitalised on those offensive misses and got out in transition. And Bryce was Bryce, as he always is. But I mean, what did you see out there from a player perspective?
Look, I think you can't control whether shots go in or not. I think for us, it's trusting our offense in the process and still continue to get good shots. I think where they hurt us today was their ability to be able to rebound and run. You know, they're obviously a dynamic team, and they beat us on the glass by 10, you know, and I think that's something that we've done quite a good job of this year. So Adelaide, they're the number one team for a reason, and it goes to show, like, when you miss shots and they can rebound and get in the transition, they're very dangerous. And, you know, I think in the second half they capitalised us on that part of the game. And then I think for us, just felt that they wanted it a bit more in that third quarter. They competed a little bit harder, which breaks the game open. And as you know, the league's very close, and when you give a team at home a chance to do that, they capitalise.
Just from the outside, from your perspective, does the Adelaide team feel different out there on the floor from the previous seasons than you've been with them?
I mean, yeah, they're the number one team. You know, they're going to compete. They've got Bryce in their team and a team around him who play hard, and everyone plays their role. You know, obviously they've done a great job so far in the season. We're just over halfway through, so yeah, the back end will tell a lot and where teams finish. But yeah, for us, we continue to chip away and you know, continue to do what we do. And I think tonight, yeah, we fell away in the second half, but we're going to regroup and turn around because games come at you quick this time of the year.
Sunday, as a player, referee suffering is not something we want to talk about, coaches or players, but we talked about momentum, John. As a player, is it really hard to adjust to when, you know, there's a lot of fouls being called and then not being called, and then it sort of switches back like we saw today? Is that really hard to adjust to it as a player and as a team?
Yeah, look, I think, it's definitely the nature of the game, and it is something that's frustrating, but, you know, the coaches harp on it, you know, practices week in and week out and game in and game out, and what's our next play mentality like? How quickly can we turn the page and move on to the next? And you can never control the refs, and we never want to make excuses. I think that's not something we do. But I think you got to adjust to the game. You know, whatever they're calling at that moment, that's what you have to play. And sometimes it swings in your favour, sometimes it doesn't. But how quickly can you move on as a group? And as the season goes on, I think that's something we got to continue to keep getting better at. And come, you know, the back end of the season, it's going to be a tight whistle, and that's something you got to kind of adapt to.
And congratulations on your commentary debut in the WNBL.
Oh, thanks, appreciate it.
Craig online.
Yeah, John, you mentioned no one plans to lose David Duke after 3 minutes. In terms of the job on Bryce, how much did you have to change what you were going in with once that happened?
No, like we didn't change anything because, like, we got a number of guys that are accustomed to that assignment. But you know, then all of a sudden, like our rotations and so forth, we're just a little thin right now in that position. You know, like obviously Duke, be great to have him with defending Bryce, but then also like right now with our roster is like he has a lot of responsibility offensively as well. You know, so it's like a double whammy when he went out tonight.
I know you don't know much about him. We've obviously seen the replay, and his arm bent the wrong way, which looked really concerning for him. It's the wrong time of year for you to have injuries with all the travel you've got and all the back-to-back games. Are you worried about your fitness of your group at this point, with other blokes coming back at this point as well? Good question in the fact that I go, well, like we've been fortunate enough to regain some guys, so you know, we can move forward in that area. But like I always preach to our guys, like, you know, they can be upset that they're not playing, but at some stage you'll get your opportunity, and when that comes along, you got to run with it. So you know, unfortunate for David and whatever happens with that, but you know, someone else gets their chance, and everyone, when they're not playing, thinks that they're a really good player and can help affect and impact winning. So when you get your moment, there you go. And from an in-game consistency point of view, like the up by 14 and then give it away so quickly, that's been the trend this year. When it's got away from you, it's got away quick. How are you going to be able to address this part? Because it's been frustrating the hell out of you.
Yeah, so like my simple solution or answer to that is you know, when your two primary ball handlers are limited through injury and returning to play, like that's a challenge. You know, we lean on Doolittle to do a lot of things for us, defend, you know, someone in the front court that's a good player, initiate offense, score. So then when those primary ball handlers are out of the game, or facilitators, playmakers, whatever word you would like to use, it really puts a lot of heat on him to be able to do that. And, you know, that in a way that's unfair, because we ask and demand a lot of do.
Yeah, Sunday, just one for you quickly. I know Perth's home for you, but you spent a lot of good years here in Adelaide. When you come back, even if it's just for a day or two to play a game, does it feel like you're coming home, or how do you feel coming back to Adelaide?
Feels familiar. You know, obviously spent 5 years here, so yeah, big part of my life here. But I think Perth will always be home, and Adelaide obviously is where I did a lot of growing up, so special place in my heart for sure.
Thanks, Sunday.
Thank you.